Well, so we've been driving around the Renault Kwid Climber in office for the last 6 months. Yes, this car came to us towards the end of last year and it's still with us in the middle of the peak summer here in Delhi. And I have to say that this car is truly impressive on more fronts than one. It impresses in terms of the interior space, in terms of features, as well as the overall fuel efficiency and decent driving dynamics. But I'm going to tell all about it in the next 5 minutes here. So stay tuned to this channel to know why the Kwid Climber should be your choice of car if you're planning to buy your first car in the Indian market. Well, the first thing that you'll truly appreciate about the Kwid is the seats themselves, because they're excellent in terms of comfort and they're definitely better than both its other rivals which sell at roughly the same price point, the Maruti Alto as well as the Datsun Redigo, because these seats offer you very good cushioning. The support for the lower back is very good, and in fact the cabin doesn't feel like it belongs to a very affordable and inexpensive car. It feels like it belongs to a premium hatchback, and that's a big compliment for Renault for making this car feel a lot more expensive than it is. Well, the other thing that you'll truly appreciate is this touchscreen over here. Not only does it have your phone as well as music system settings on it, it also has navigation, and it's the only car at this price point which has navigation. Now, it isn't the best system, it is a little laggy, and it could be better in terms of the overall menu setup, but for a car to offer infotainment system, that too with navigation at this price point, is simply outstanding. And again, full marks to Renault for giving it this thoughtful touch. Last but not least, what you'll also appreciate about the car is the overall utility places inside this cabin. You get this huge tray over here, you get these couple of glove boxes here as well as down below, and you get plenty of places to keep your odds and ends. You can keep your cell phone right over here, and your wallet can easily go in the bottle holder over here, and there are plenty of other places as well, and dobbins are genuinely large enough for those big 1 liter bottles, and of course you can place them here where their place is. So overall, as I just said, it's an excellent cabin to be in, and it doesn't feel like it belongs to an inexpensive and affordable car. It really does feel like a much more cabin than it is. Well, so the first thing that you'll truly appreciate about the Renault Kwid, no matter which version you buy, is the fuel efficiency of this engine. Yes, we've been driving it in the peak of Delhi summer with the AC on full blast most of the time, and we've managed to get about 16.5 on the onboard computer over here. So these are pretty respectable figures, remember, because we do drive a lot in chock-a-block city traffic, and in the morning rush hours in Delhi things are quite bad. So even then we're getting about 16.5 on the onboard trip computer, which are very good figures considering that this is a 1 liter petrol engine. What you also appreciate about the car is its refinement. Yes, towards the lower end of its RPM band, it is pretty responsive and pretty refined, and yes, even when you rev it hard, it does remain relatively refined. It's only towards the red line where it becomes a little buzzy inside the cabin, but for most average buyers, this is something that they'll truly appreciate. What average daily drivers will also appreciate is the super light and ultra light steering wheel, in fact, because it doesn't take a lot of effort to maneuver this car around. The steering wheel is so light, and you can actually do it with your small finger over here. The index finger can simply maneuver this car around. Of course, that's something we don't recommend, but it's just to show you a point that it is an ultra light steering wheel. Buyers will also like the chunky rear view mirrors, but what they won't like is the fact that every time you have to adjust it, you'll have to roll the window down like this and take your hand out, and that's a major irritant if you're driving in the heat or you're driving when it's raining and pouring outside. So that's something that maybe Renault should think about and offer you at least internally adjustable mirrors on the Kwid, because it is a very annoying feature, and especially considering that they offer you satellite navigation on this car, it's a surprise that this thing isn't there. Well, what you'll also like about the Renault Kwid, and something that I've truly appreciated, is its big car feel. Yes, it does not feel like a small, affordable hatchback. It feels like it is towards the premium hatchback space in terms of the overall driving dynamics, in terms of the space inside the cabin, and also in the ride department. You'll really like the ride comfort on this car. It offers you very, very absorbent ride, and it's quite unbelievable that Renault have managed to offer you such a comfortable car at this price point, because it really does soak in the bumps, not only at slow city speeds but also at highway speeds, and it's a car which is truly enjoyable in the truest sense of the word. Now it is a great car for fuel efficiency as well as responsiveness and refinement, but one thing that Renault should think of offering on the Kwid Automatic that we've been driving in office now for 6 months is some sort of manual control over the automatic gearbox, because at the moment there's only this knob and there's no lever, there's no paddle shifters, there's nothing which can override the automatic settings. So that's something which can become a little irritating, especially if you want to quickly overtake a slow moving vehicle in front of you. And why do I say that? Well, simply because the gearbox, even though it is quite okay, just feels a little lazy sometimes when you are in kick down mode. When you want quick acceleration, want the gearbox to go down, it just takes a couple of seconds to decide which gear to shift in, and that 2 seconds can be as long as 30 seconds in real life, because it feels very frustrating. And even though it is just 2 or 3 seconds, it just feels like you're wasting a lot of time waiting for the gearbox to decide which gear to shift in. So that's something that maybe Renault should add. But apart from that, it is a scintillating package. It is a very well thought out package, and it is a very strong package. Out of a score of 100, I would give it a very strong 90. Now, if you are a keen driver, then truly no affordable hatchback is truly a driver's car, because these cars really are the bare minimum, no more. And the Renault Kwid is no different. It's a nice car for average everyday drivers who want the hassle to be out of driving and just want to get from point A to point B. It's a great car for those people. But for keener drivers, you might prefer something like an Alto, or you might want to spend a little more money and buy a bigger car, because there's nothing in this car for the keen driver. There's a lot of body room when you push into corners, and the steering also, as I just said, is ultra light and doesn't feel very communicative. So it's really a nice car for people who get bored of driving, and it's a nice car for people who just want to get from point A to point B. And I think 85 or 90% of buyers in the Indian market are people like that. So Renault really is catering to a wide audience. Well, so how would I rate the Renault Kwid Climber Automatic on a score of 100? I would give this car a very strong score of 90. Yes, this car deserves the highest of highest scores. There are a couple of things which could be improved, but those couple of things are there on every car. And one of those things, of course, is the fact that there is no manual setting for the automatic gearbox, unlike the Alto. And that's something that maybe Renault should have thought about, because sometimes this gearbox can be a little irritating, because it takes a couple of seconds or 3 seconds to decide which gear to get in if you want a quick acceleration maneuver. And those 2 or 3 seconds do actually feel like eternity, because you are moving on the highway and trying to overtake a slow moving vehicle. So those 2 or 3 seconds can become really annoying. But apart from that, the other thing that Renault should fix is internally adjustable mirrors over here. But apart from those 2 things, this is a very strong package. In fact, it's one of the best, if not the best, package in the affordable hatchback space. It's definitely ahead of its main rivals, which are at this price point, and definitely a car which you should consider if you're in the market for your first ever car and your first ever set of wheels. This is the best bet out there. It's spacious, it's nice to drive, it's comfortable, and it has a long list of features, and very thoughtful features of that, which make it feel a lot more expensive than it really is. So overall, as I just said, one of the best little numbers out there in the Indian market in terms of value for money, and also in terms of pure engineering. It really is that good. Now, if you want to know more about this car and its other rivals, you can always check out our video content over here. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you want to know about the latest test drive reviews as well as latest bike reviews by clicking on the description below. And you can always subscribe by clicking over here. It's bye for now, and hope to see you soon.